My friends, the environment you live in shapes the destiny you move toward. A house is not merely walls and furniture, it is a reflection of your inner state, your discipline, and your commitment to growth. If your surroundings are filled with clutter, distractions, and hidden enemies to your peace of mind, then success will remain a distant visitor, never staying long enough to build with you. Today, I will share 5 things you must remove from your home immediately if you wish to create a space that welcomes prosperity, health, and lasting happiness. Disorder in your home breeds disorder in your thoughts, and it quietly seeps into your daily life. When you live among stacks of papers, piles of unused clothes, or a cluttered table that never sees the light of day, you are giving your mind a constant reminder of unfinished tasks and hidden chaos. This disarray becomes a silent thief of clarity, robbing you of peace and focus. A clean, organized space is not simply about aesthetics. It's about creating an environment that frees your thoughts, sharpens your decisions, and makes room for creativity to breathe. When you remove clutter, you are not losing anything, you are gaining freedom. There is also a danger in holding on to broken and useless items. Every cracked plate, every broken gadget waiting endlessly for repair, every piece of furniture that limps instead of serves, is a subtle message of delay and neglect. They remind you day after day of promises you have not kept to yourself. By discarding them, you send a clear message to your subconscious mind that you will no longer tolerate postponement. You will no longer carry objects that symbolize decay or stagnation. Instead, you choose momentum, progress, and a readiness for better things. Our homes also carry emotional weight, often hidden in objects tied to painful memories. Perhaps it is a gift from someone who once hurt you, or a photograph that drags you back into a season of regret. Keeping these items is like chaining yourself to the past. They keep wounds fresh and prevent true healing. When you remove toxic reminders, you are not erasing history. You are reclaiming power over it. You are saying, I will no longer be defined by yesterday's betrayal or heartbreak. In their place, you invite objects, symbols, and memories that encourage forgiveness, resilience, and forward movement. Another silent enemy is hidden in what we feed ourselves. Expired cans in the cupboard, unhealthy snacks stacked in the pantry, or sugary drinks filling the refrigerator do more damage than we admit. The body is the servant of the mind, and when the servant is weak, the master cannot rise to greatness. A strong, energized, nourished body is the foundation for discipline and endurance. Removing harmful foods and replacing them with nourishment is a declaration that you will honor your body as a sacred instrument, not abuse it as a dumping ground. Prosperity cannot be built on a weakened vessel. Finally, your home must not tolerate words, images, or sounds that destroy the spirit. Every poster on the wall, every book on the shelf, every program constantly playing in the background is feeding your subconscious with messages of either victory or defeat. Negative words and destructive images plant seeds of despair, and noise without purpose drowns the voice of inspiration. To grow, you must surround yourself with what lifts you. Remove the whispers of limitation and fill your environment with reminders of courage, beauty, and success. A home filled with order, strength, and positive energy becomes more than a place to sleep. It becomes the launching ground of destiny. Objects that no longer serve you are not harmless. They are symbols of delay, whispering to you that progress can wait. A cracked mirror that distorts your reflection or a broken chair that no longer provides comfort are not just items of inconvenience. They are physical reminders that you've accepted less than you deserve. Each time you pass by them, you unconsciously enforce the idea that unfinished business and half-kept promises are acceptable in your life. This acceptance is dangerous, for what you tolerate in your surroundings, you soon begin to tolerate in your habits, your goals, and your ambitions. That gadget sitting in a drawer, waiting for repair year after year, is more than a forgotten tool. It is a symbol of procrastination, of putting off what should have been done today in favor of a vague tomorrow. Its presence builds a subtle but powerful association between your environment and inaction. You may not think about it consciously, but your subconscious mind registers it each time you notice it and moves you closer to a mindset of postponement. By holding on to what is broken and unusable, you train yourself to live in a state of incompletion. To release these broken things is not to be wasteful, it is to be wise. It is a declaration that you no longer settle for fragments when you are meant to live in fullness. When you throw away or repair these objects, you reclaim authority over your environment and, in turn, over your habits. You stop giving your energy to reminders of lack and start making space for reminders of abundance. The act of discarding what is broken is a physical demonstration of your refusal to let decay occupy the place where growth belongs. When you choose to remove such items, You create a powerful shift in energy. Your home begins to echo a new message, one of readiness, one of movement. A chair that is whole invites rest, a tool that works invites productivity, and a space free from broken things invites fresh ideas. These are not small changes, for every improvement in your surroundings ripples into improvements in your state of mind. The home becomes not a museum of forgotten repairs, but a workshop of momentum and purpose. It is also important to recognize the hidden burden of emotional weight these broken items carry. Every time you look at them, even if only for a fleeting second, you feel the pull of guilt or frustration. Perhaps you say to yourself, "I'll fix it one day," or "I shouldn't throw it away." That inner dialogue, repeated daily, eats away at your confidence and discipline. The moment you act, by removing or repairing, you silence that voice of guilt and replace it with a voice of accomplishment. You prove to yourself that you are a person who finishes what you start. Ultimately, eliminating broken and useless items is more than tidying a home. It is aligning your physical world with your inner standards. It is refusing to let the external environment contradict the greatness you aspire to within. When you clear away what no longer serves you, you build the discipline to clear away stagnant thoughts, harmful habits, and wasted time. What remains is an environment that reflects vitality, strength, and the constant movement towards something better. And in that kind of environment, success is not an accident, it becomes inevitable. Perhaps it is a gift from someone who once betrayed you, or an object that holds the memory of a painful season in your life. At first glance, these things may appear harmless, just souvenirs of the past, but their presence carries weight. Each time your eyes fall upon them, your spirit revisits the emotions attached to them: resentment, bitterness, regret, or sorrow. Instead of inspiring you to move forward, they drag you back to a place you worked hard to escape. The home should be a sanctuary of peace, not a museum of old wounds. Many people hold on to these items under the illusion that keeping them is a form of strength. They say, "It reminds me what I've been through." But the truth is that strength is not measured by your ability to revisit pain. It is measured by your ability to rise above it. A scar is not healed by constantly reopening the wound. By keeping objects tied to betrayal or disappointment, you prolong your suffering. They become silent chains that keep you anchored in yesterday, preventing you from fully embracing today and preparing for tomorrow. Letting go of such things is an act of courage. It takes bravery to release the tangible reminders of a story that shaped you. You may feel that by discarding them, you are erasing a part of yourself, but in reality, you are reclaiming of control. You are choosing not to be defined by the darkest parts of your past, but by the strength and wisdom you gain from surviving them. Every object removed is a message to yourself that you are no longer available for bitterness, that your home will no longer house the shadows of yesterday. This act of removal creates space not only in your home, but in your mind and heart. Imagine replacing that painful photograph with an image that inspires joy, or exchanging that toxic gift for an object that represents love, victory, or growth. Suddenly, your surroundings become allies in your healing, constantly reminding you of the beauty of forgiveness and the power of moving on. In this way, your home becomes an environment that pushes you toward light instead of pulling you into darkness. There is also a spiritual dimension to this release. As long as you hold on to the symbols of pain, you signal to life itself that you are not ready for something new. You cling to the old chapter while asking for the next one to unfold, but life will not turn the page until you let go. Removing these reminders is like unlocking a door that has been stuck. It invites in fresh energy, new opportunities, and unexpected blessings. You cannot carry yesterday's weight and expect to run freely into tomorrow's promise. Ultimately, the decision to remove toxic reminders of the past is an act of self-respect. It is a declaration that your home will no longer host bitterness, resentment, or regret. Instead, it will be a place where peace resides, where love is cultivated, and where the future feels welcome. When you step into such a home, you step into an atmosphere that heals you daily, reminding you not of who hurt you, but of who you are becoming. And that shift alone can transform your journey from survival to triumph. The body is the tool through which every dream must be pursued, and yet many people neglect it by surrounding themselves with food that weakens rather than strengthens. Expired items left to linger in the cupboards are not only unsafe to consume, but are also subtle signs of carelessness. They show a willingness to live with neglect and tolerate what no longer has value. When you allow spoiled goods to remain, you accept decay into your daily life. That acceptance seeps into your habits, making it easier to accept mediocrity in other areas as well. The refrigerator tells a story about the life you are building. If it is filled with sugary drinks, greasy leftovers, and empty calorie snacks, then the message is clear: the body is being sacrificed at the altar of convenience. And yet, how can great goals be achieved with a tired body, a foggy mind, or a heart weighed down by poor health? What you consume is either fueling your ambition or feeding your destruction. There is no neutrality in food. It is always working either for you or against you. To replace poison with nourishment is not simply a matter of diet, it is a matter of discipline. It is choosing to honor your future self with the strength and clarity that come from eating well today. Every time you open your pantry or fridge, you face a decision that affects more than your body. It affects your energy, your productivity, your mood, and your resilience in the face of challenges. By filling those shelves with fruits, vegetables, clean water, and wholesome food, you create a foundation on which your greatest ambitions can rest securely. When you discard what is harmful, you also train your mind to respect itself. You are telling your subconscious that you will not allow poison in any form, whether in thoughts, relationships, or nutrition. This attitude builds consistency and self-respect, and from that respect flows the strength to persevere when others quit. Your health becomes a form of wealth, a hidden advantage that carries you further than talent alone ever could. The sharper the mind, the stronger the body, the greater the ability to seize opportunities when they appear. A weak body cannot sustain a powerful dream. To neglect your health is to sabotage your destiny, but to nourish it is to give yourself the endurance to walk boldly into the future. Remove what decays, remove what poisons, and replace it with what energizes and uplifts. In doing so, you not only protect your body, you protect your ambitions. For the body is not just a vessel. It is the engine of your vision, and when fueled with strength, there is no limit to the heights it can take you. Every word, image, and symbol in your home carries a voice, whether you notice it or not. A book on the shelf, a picture on the wall, even a phrase casually written and left in plain sight, all of these things are feeding your subconscious mind. The mind is always listening, always recording, and always shaping your beliefs out of what it absorbs. If your environment is filled with negative words, images of despair, or stories of failure, then you are unconsciously training yourself to expect the same outcomes in your own life. The danger is that these influences often disguise themselves as harmless. A dark film watched repeatedly, a cynical quote framed as humor, or a book filled with pessimism may seem like small choices, but together they create an atmosphere of defeat. When the subconscious is constantly reminded of hopelessness or destruction, it begins to accept them as normal. Before long, you carry these expectations into your actions, limiting what you attempt and how boldly you pursue your goals. Removing these harmful voices is not about censorship, it is about stewardship. You are the guardian of your own mind, and it is your responsibility to decide what influences it will absorb. By choosing to surround yourself with images of beauty, words of encouragement, and stories of triumph, you set a new standard for what is possible. These positive voices do more than decorate your home. They plant seeds of strength, courage, and resilience that grow silently within you, preparing you for greater challenges ahead. When you step into a home filled with uplifting reminders, you step into an environment that constantly works for you instead of against you. A framed quote about perseverance reminds you to endure. A picture of a mountain peak inspires you to climb higher. A book filled with wisdom sharpens your perspective. Every object then becomes a partner in your progress, shaping your subconscious to expect victory, not defeat. The truth is simple: what you see here and read every day is writing the story of your life long before you act it out. If your surroundings speak failure, you will struggle to rise above it. But if they speak victory, your mind will align with success until it becomes your reality. Removing negative words and images is not a matter of decoration. It is a matter of destiny. When your environment echoes hope, your spirit begins to march confidently toward the future you desire. The habit of hoarding is born out of fear. It whispers the lie that you must hold on tightly to everything you own, because what if tomorrow does not provide? This fear of lack creates a prison inside the home, filling rooms with objects that serve no purpose yet demand space and energy. Each time you walk past the clutter, you reinforce the idea that life is uncertain and you must cling to things for safety. But true safety does not come from accumulation. It comes from the confidence that tomorrow will always offer enough. When people say, "I might need this someday," they often speak out of a belief in scarcity rather than abundance. That someday rarely arrives, and the items kept for it gather dust, becoming heavy reminders of hesitation. Instead of preparing you for the future, these objects trap you in the past, locking away both physical space and mental freedom. The fear of letting go keeps you chained to possessions that do not serve you, blinding you to opportunities that might have filled that space with something better. Letting go of excess is an act of trust. It is trust in yourself, trust in life, and trust in the principle that space left open will not remain empty for long. It will be filled with something greater. When you release what you do not need, you invite abundance to flow. You prove to yourself that you are not a prisoner of what if, but a master of what is. And in mastering the present, you create room for new experiences, new tools, and new blessings to arrive. The truth is that hoarding drains energy. A home crowded with unnecessary items creates constant noise for the mind. You may not consciously notice it, but your subconscious does. It sees the piles, feels the disorder, and absorbs the weight of indecision. In contrast, a clean, open space brings clarity and lightness. It reflects the mindset of a person ready to move forward without being dragged down by yesterday's fears. Removing what no longer belongs is not loss, it is liberation. In the end, breaking free from hoarding is choosing faith over fear. It is choosing to believe that life is abundant, that tomorrow will provide, and that you do not need to chain yourself to unused objects for comfort. Each act of release strengthens your confidence and renews your energy. You stop living like a prisoner of scarcity and begin living like a builder of possibility. When your home reflects freedom and openness, your mind begins to mirror the same, and that mindset becomes a powerful force in creating the life you truly want. A home filled with constant noise may seem alive, but in truth it is robbing you of the very silence your soul craves. The television humming in the background, the endless buzzing of phones, or the habitual habit of filling every moment with chatter creates a wall of distraction. Amid this noise, your mind struggles to hear its own thoughts. Your greatest ideas, the ones that could transform your life, require stillness to emerge, and stillness cannot live where noise reigns without pause. Noise has a way of numbing the spirit. It pretends to be entertainment, connection, or company, but often it is simply a distraction from facing yourself. When you fill your space with endless sound, you avoid the deeper questions: what do I truly want? What is my next step? What is holding me back? In silence, those questions rise to the surface and demand answers. Without silence, you remain comfortably busy, yet dangerously unfulfilled. Silence is not emptiness, it is power. It is the soil in which creativity takes root and clarity blossoms. In the quiet moments, your subconscious begins to reveal solutions, insights, and visions that were hidden beneath the noise. Many of the world's greatest ideas were born in stillness, in moments of reflection free from interruption. By guarding silence, you are guarding the possibility of discovering the next breakthrough in your own life. When you remove unnecessary noise from your home, you create space for deeper connection as well. Conversations with family become more meaningful when they are not drowned out by constant background chatter. Your focus sharpens, your rest becomes sweeter, and your energy more directed. Instead of scattering your attention across endless sounds, you learn to listen deeply to yourself, to others, and to life itself. Noise may be easy to allow, but silence must be chosen. It is a discipline to turn off the devices, to put aside the distractions, and to sit with the quiet. Yet the reward of doing so is immeasurable. A home that nurtures thought, cultivates creativity, and strengthens peace. Silence is not the absence of life. It is the atmosphere in which true life is built. Guard it well, for in silence lies the voice of your greatest potential. Entertainment has its place, but when it becomes a constant escape, it transforms into a thief of time and focus. The problem is not the existence of entertainment, but its disguise. It presents itself as harmless relaxation, yet too often it steals hours that could have been invested in growth, in family, or in building a better future. Many homes today are filled with devices that claim to connect us, yet in truth, they disconnect us from our own potential. These distractions feel comfortable because they require nothing from us. A screen that keeps playing a game that never ends, or a stream of endless scrolling promises quick pleasure without effort. But behind that ease lies a trap. Each moment spent feeding on shallow amusement is a moment not spent developing discipline, creativity, or purpose. The mind, like the body, grows weak when it is overfilled with comfort and underfilled with challenge. Families especially suffer under the weight of this disguised distraction. A room full of people can sit together, each with their eyes fixed on a separate screen, while genuine connection quietly withers. Conversations become rare, laughter is replaced with silence, and bonds grow thinner. Entertainment was meant to bring joy, yet when abused it robs relationships of their depth. A home should not be a collection of isolated individuals. It should be a place of unity, love, and shared growth. The difference lies in choice. Tools should serve us, not enslave us. A device used with purpose can bring knowledge, inspiration, and opportunity. The same device used without discipline can consume entire days, leaving nothing behind but regret. The question is not whether these things belong in your home, but whether they are controlled by you or controlling you. If they are robbing you of energy, time, and focus, then they are no longer tools, they are chains. To remove distractions disguised as entertainment is to reclaim ownership of your life. It is to say, I will not trade my future for empty hours of escape. It does not mean rejecting all leisure, but choosing it wisely so that it refreshes rather than drains. When your home becomes a place where entertainment is balanced with purpose, you regain focus, strengthen relationships, and create an atmosphere where dreams can thrive. In that environment, entertainment serves its rightful role, not as a master, but as a servant of your greater destiny. Hidden dirt and neglect may seem like small matters, but they carry a deeper message than most realize. Dust in the corners, stains tucked under rugs, or areas of the home left untouched for months all create an atmosphere of quiet decay. On the surface, they may appear insignificant, but beneath the surface, they speak loudly to the subconscious. They remind you daily, even if you do not notice consciously, that there are unfinished tasks and ignored responsibilities lingering around you. This subtle weight chips away at clarity and peace of mind. When you tolerate these small signs of neglect, you train yourself to overlook the details in other areas of life as well. A person who accepts dust in the corner may also accept dishonesty in their work, inconsistency in their habits, or excuses in their progress. It is never about the dirt itself. It is about the standard you set for yourself. Every time you walk past the neglected corner and do nothing, you reinforce the belief that avoiding problems is easier than facing them. Over time, that belief shapes character. Cleaning hidden spaces is more than a physical task. It is an act of integrity. It is a decision to confront what is unseen and unacknowledged, both in your home and in yourself. Just as cleaning under the rug brings freshness to the air, addressing the hidden corners of your character brings purity to your spirit. It is about refusing to live a life that looks polished on the outside but is rotting underneath. The person who practices thoroughness in their environment develops thoroughness in their life. There is also a liberating effect that comes from removing neglect. When you bring order to the overlooked spaces, you create a sense of wholeness in your surroundings. The home no longer carries silent accusations of laziness or avoidance. It carries an atmosphere of discipline and pride. Every clean space becomes a quiet reminder that you are willing to handle even the smallest responsibilities with care. That mindset, repeated consistently, builds the strength to handle greater responsibilities with excellence. In the end, it is not about perfection, but about respect for your home, for your time, and for your character. Hidden dirt may not harm the body directly, but it harms the spirit by allowing compromise to live within your walls. When you choose to clear it away, you send a message to yourself and to life itself that you will not settle for half measures, that you will not ignore what matters simply because no one else can see it. Such discipline in the unseen moments shapes a life of integrity, and integrity is the foundation of lasting success. Symbols of limitation are some of the most dangerous things you can allow in your home because they quietly tell you that what you have now is all you will ever deserve. These symbols take many forms: an old piece of furniture kept not because it serves you, but because you believe you cannot afford better, or a picture that reminds you of failure rather than hope. Even the smallest item can carry a message that whispers into your subconscious, stay where you are, do not reach higher, accept less than what you are truly capable of. Living among such reminders creates an invisible ceiling in your life. Every time you see these objects, they reinforce the belief that you must settle. Instead of inspiring you toward progress, they make stagnation feel normal. When you internalize that message, you stop striving for more, not because you cannot achieve it, but because you begin to believe it is not meant for you. These symbols are not harmless, they are anchors, keeping you tied to a life smaller than the one you were created to live. To remove them is to affirm your worth. When you clear out the objects that speak of limitation, you declare to yourself that you deserve more beauty, more opportunity, more possibility. It is not about chasing luxury for the sake of appearances, but about surrounding yourself with items and environments that reflect growth, dignity, and expansion. A home that speaks abundance tells your mind to prepare for abundance. It whispers encouragement instead of defeat. The transformation is not only physical but psychological. As you replace symbols of limitation with symbols of possibility, your environment begins to nurture ambition instead of restraining it. You may choose a picture that represents the future you are building, or arrange your home in a way that reflects order and readiness. These choices subtly reprogram your subconscious, training it to expect more from life. Over time, that expectation influences your actions, and your actions shape your reality. The truth is, you are always in dialogue with your surroundings. If your home is filled with reminders that you must settle, you will live a life of settling. But if your home reflects expansion, progress, and worthiness, then your spirit rises to meet that standard. Remove every symbol that tells you to stay small, and let your environment speak possibility. When your home echoes greatness, your mind cannot help but align with it, and soon your life will begin to follow the same path of growth. Envy-inducing comparisons often hide in plain sight within the walls of your home. They show up as items purchased not because you love them, but because you wanted to match what someone else had. They exist in clothes, gadgets, or decorations that were meant to impress rather than to serve. At first, they might feel like trophies, but over time, they quietly erode your peace. Every time you look at them, you are reminded of someone else's path instead of your own. These objects do not inspire growth, they feed insecurity. They whisper that you are not enough unless you keep up with the pace of others. They turn your home into a stage, a place where appearances matter more than authenticity. But when you measure yourself by another's success, you inevitably lose because you abandon your own race. Your home should be a place of grounding, a place where you are reminded of who you truly are, not a constant scoreboard of comparison. Letting go of these items is a declaration of independence. It is saying, I no longer need proof to the world that I am worthy. Your worth is not found in whether your possessions match someone else's. It is found in how aligned they are with your own vision, values, and joy. When you remove the objects tied to comparison, you remove the need to perform, and in that freedom, you gain the strength to focus on your own growth. As you replace envy, inducing reminders with things that genuinely bring you joy, your home becomes a reflection of your true identity. A book that inspires you, a tool that supports your craft, a piece of art that lifts your spirit. These things are not chosen to impress, but to nourish. They remind you your own path, your own purpose, and your own progress. Instead of living in competition, you begin living in creation, shaping a space that strengthens you from the inside out. Comparison blinds you to gratitude, but authenticity opens your eyes to abundance. When your home stops echoing envy and starts echoing truth, you stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for fulfillment. By removing what ties you to competition, you reclaim your focus, your peace, and your direction. In a home that reflects your own path, you no longer chase the shadows of others. You walk confidently in your own light. Laziness does not always arrive as an obvious choice. It often hides within the environment you create. A chair too soft, a couch that seems to pull you in for hours, or a room arranged in such a way that it encourages idleness can slowly turn your home into a place where energy dies instead of grows. When every corner whispers, relax a little longer, ambition is buried under layers of comfort. A home built only for ease becomes a graveyard for dreams. Comfort in moderation is restorative, but comfort in excess is destructive. When the environment rewards an action more than movement, discipline begins to fade. Hours pass unnoticed, energy is wasted, and opportunities slip away while the body remains still. Over time, the habit of sinking into comfort grows stronger than the will to rise into action. The danger is not in rest itself, but in designing your surroundings so poorly that rest becomes the default state rather than a chosen moment of recovery. The design of a home must reflect intention. A space that invites learning might include a desk with inspiring books within reach. A space that encourages health might place exercise equipment where it cannot be ignored. A space that motivates progress might feature reminders of goals, schedules, or visual cues that spark movement. In this way, the home ceases to be a trap of laziness and instead becomes a partner in discipline. Your environment should not work against you. It should help carry you toward success. Even small changes can have a powerful effect. Moving a chair away from the television, creating a well-lit corner for reading, or clearing a surface for work can shift the balance from idleness to productivity. When you arrange your home deliberately, every room becomes an invitation to grow. Instead of being surrounded by objects that seduce you into wasting time, you surround yourself with tools that inspire action. These subtle cues build habits, and habits build destiny. To remove laziness from your environment is to declare that you will not allow your surroundings to sabotage your future. It is to take ownership of the atmosphere in which you live and ensure it reflects the person you are becoming, not the person who settles for less. When your home is aligned with action, discipline, and growth, you naturally rise to the level of that standard. Laziness then finds no place to rest, and your environment becomes a steady engine that pushes you forward toward the life you are determined to create. My friends, your home is either a sanctuary for greatness or a prison for mediocrity. What you choose to keep is what you choose to become. Remove what weakens you, and what remains will strengthen you. Success is not only built in boardrooms and offices, it is built first in the place where you wake, breathe, and rest. Transform your home, and you transform your destiny.